everybody, Tony D with a Hollywoke hot take. I'm going to try to make this one quick because the last one went too long. So there's this show, it's on Netflix, it's a cartoon called Big Mouth, and two of the actresses, Kristen Bell and Jenny Slate, who are both white, are quitting the show because they voice characters that aren't white, and therefore they think there's something wrong with that. Now, quick a definition of what acting is. Acting is when you pretend to be a different person than you are. So I see nothing wrong with these actresses voicing people of color. It doesn't matter. They're fake characters on a fake universe. In a cartoon, a pretty ridiculous cartoon, by the way. God forbid we have one decent comedy that isn't super woke. I don't know who pressured them. I don't know if it was people behind the scenes or if it was their idea or if they're getting pressure from Twitter or whatever. You really, really have to stop listening to Twitter, Hollywoke. Just stop. It's 2% of the country. They are really crazy on it. It's a lot of women who are just virtue signaling endlessly about nonsense. I'm telling you, if tomorrow hitting yourself in the head with a baseball bat was considered virtuous, these women would give themselves concussions. They would be in a contest to see how much skull damage they could take before they died. That's how bad it is on Twitter. It's endless virtue signaling. Even after I purged my list of woke idiots, they still keep returning somehow. Anyhow, there's nothing wrong with voicing characters of color. What are you going to do? You're going to segregate all the actors now? Well, you're a white actor, so you only play white parts. Oh, you're a black actor, you can only play black parts. You're an Asian actor, you can only play Asian parts. We addressed this in a couple of scenes in Wokistan, a novel, me and Christian. There is a play going on at the college at the time, and I don't want to give the whole thing away, but it gets even woker. The play is pretty woke, but they make it even woker because it's never woke enough in Wokistan. And that's where we are. We're in Wokistan, or in your case, Hollywoke. Another Hollywoke tidbit came through, which is that Bad Robot, J.J. Abrams' company, put out a sort of an employee's handbook on fighting white supremacy within the company. Okay, let me explain this again. You live in Hollywood, the wokest place on earth, where there are practically no Republicans, practically no, it's just woke. You don't get a woker place than Hollywood. Maybe San Francisco. Okay, maybe San Francisco, but you're already super, super woke, and you're acting as if there are KKK guys hiding behind every corner. You're acting as if you just bump into one of the white employees in your company, he'll immediately start spouting the N-word and turn into the biggest virulent racist you've ever seen. This just isn't the case. And the handbook is all about intersectional feminism. It has stuff in it about Black Lives Matter, local chapters of Black Lives Matter. It asks you to watch certain movies to get a better understanding. That's such a Hollywood thing to do. Oh, watch these movies, then you'll get it. And it lists some decent movies. Boys in the Hood is okay. Do the Right Thing, which I did like. A Fruitvale Station, which I didn't see. A couple others. I don't know. It was a bunch of movies. But, they're all movies made by the wokest people on earth. If racism is so rampant in the industry, why isn't there a big list of giant racist movies to avoid? These people cannot be woke enough, and their purity spiral just continues endlessly. The idea that, and it's incredibly racist. This is the horseshoe effect that, as you get to the further extremes of the political spectrum, eventually they sort of come together in their racism and horrible things. So the reason it's racist is because they assume every white person is racist, and they can't help it. They've got white privilege, and they have to understand that. And it's not enough just to say, well, I'm not going to be racist. You have to like buy into all this intersectional feminism and whatnot. You can't, in order to be an ally, you can't stay silent. In other words, you have to repeat what we believe, or else we know you're a racist. That's the point. And it's like joining a cult. This is what this has become. It's become a cult of woke. And white supremacy is around every corner. If you don't join, then you're part of the problem. Because they are searching for monsters to destroy. And if they don't have them, they'll find one in you. That's the problem. So JJ, and you other Hollywoke idiots, stop. Just stop. How about this? All men are created equal. Treat everybody equally. Give everybody equal opportunity. Treat everybody nice. That's it. Everybody. Don't pick on white people as if they're the problem for everything and we must train you and constantly tell you our stories or else you won't understand and you'll never understand. Look, there is racism. I'm not denying that there is racism everywhere to an extent. I don't mean it's everywhere like under every corner. I mean, there's racism. Racism exists. But problems exist for people too. Everybody has problems. Now, some people see racism and they decide, well, that's my problem. And some of those people are justified, but some of them are not. And that is the problem with addressing it in your workspace. Because you have people who have had actual racial incidents and they might need to talk about that. I don't know why you would do it in a workplace. Maybe you should talk to a psychiatrist or someone who could deal with this on a PTSD level, or a friend or family, but whatever. You certainly don't want it in the workplace, but you don't have it in the workplace. You're in Hollywood. The whole point is to call things out when they get bad. But you don't do that anyway. When you have rich, famous people, you don't call out their behavior. You don't. You wait until their careers are almost over, and then you go after them in a lawsuit. I mean, look at all the people you went after. I mean, the only reason I think they went after Harvey Weinstein is because he was so bad, that he was so egregious, you know, he just went over the line again and again and again. And he did it so often, there was proof flying around. And he did it to some of the most famous women ever. But in terms of racism, I mean, racism isn't nearly in that category as the Me Tooing in Hollywood, in my opinion. Me Tooing is a huge problem in Hollywood, in that there's probably not enough guys getting Me Too'd in Hollywood. There's probably a ton of casting couch stuff. But at the same time, there are people that are okay with that. They're okay with that exchange. Sex for a little work. I don't think it's right, but there are people who do it. And, you know, they're fine with it, I guess. I think it's wrong. I wouldn't do it. But, you know, they're grown adults and they're allowed to do what they want. Now, in terms of racism, it's just not that big a problem in Hollywood. It's just not. You know, how many people... There is a channel called Black Entertainment Television. I mean, it's a whole channel. It's a whole channel. You change the adjective of black to something else, sounds pretty racist to me. Let's just have a system in which all men are created equal. All people are created equal. Sorry. And treat each other as equally as possible. Try to be a good person. Try to have good values. And let's not harass people at work and try to indoctrinate them into intersectional feminism and your wacky ideas of race. Because most of this stuff is, I think, written by white people. And these, you know, gender studies people who write this stuff, you know, a lot of this stuff is just turning racist. BLM is turning Marxist. I mean, it's not turning Marxist, it is Marxist, and they're connected to the Democratic Party. You got the 1619 Project coming out of New York Times. A woman wrote probably this huge racist essay, one of the people involved in it or runs it. I mean, there's problems here, and it's not just white people, okay? And we have to be willing to say that. We have to be willing to say, look, we have problems. Everybody has problems. Sometimes it's white people, sometimes it's black people, sometimes look, the Chinese have a huge problem with racism over in China. I'm sure some of them that emigrate here probably still have some problems with certain races. Probably. I don't know. But I'm not here to probe everybody's brain and make sure they comport with everybody's view of reality. We just got to try to make a system in which, even if you think that way, well, you're not allowed to discriminate. So don't. And as far as acting is concerned, well, people are allowed to pretend to be other stuff. That's acting. Okay? You're allowed to act. If you're not allowed to act, well, just close down Hollywoke. Close it down and say goodbye, because you're not going to be able to hire every single person of the right race and age and gender and this and that. It's going to get ridiculous. It's going to get ridiculous. And what's going to happen is you're going to see creators get away from all those issues because they can't touch it. You're going to go right into fantasy and sci-fi because I made all this stuff up, so there's no races. Haha. That's what's going to happen. They're going to avoid it instead of talking about it. And you're going to do exactly the opposite of what you wanted to do, which is talk about race. So you'll get nowhere because they'll avoid it by pretending to be other people that aren't about race. And then the intersectional feminists will go in and say, well, the orcs are racist, as they have. Yes, they actually said that. The orcs are racist because they're so racist they equate orcs with people of color somehow. Don't ask me how they came up with that one. They're just a bunch of racists in my book. But when it comes to racism in Hollywood or in Hollywoke, yeah, I'm sure there's some problems out there. But let's not hunt monsters to destroy. Let's not harass our own employees. How about, just making sure they're good people with good values and seem to treat people nice? I mean, that's what most people do when they hire someone, right? You kind of vet them a little. Maybe you give them a 30-day or 60-day trial, see how they work out. They don't do anything too weird. Well, they stay on. Find out they're a racist 20 days in. Yeah, now we don't need you. But, this is 2020. It's not 1920, okay? We've progressed. Things have happened. Stop making it all about race. God. I mean, again, when your only tool's a hammer, everything's a nail.